This is September 11th, the memorial for September 11th, 2011. Memorial stands and donated from the services they have there at Moses Lake office. Mayor, which is 401 South Moses Lake, Washington. The services that they have incorporate with the library service, donate services for the Mid-Columbia Library in Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, and also the library, which is the MCL services they have. Donation services they have for the donation service for the kids and tots. And the kids and tots has their services here. They have a Christmas tree was donated and served from the nursery itself, Christmas nursery. The Christmas nursery services have a gathering every year for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and their services for, of course, 401 City Hall has the monument services, and they have tree services for Christmas services, and they have their donation fees, and they have their services for kids that cannot provide toys for themselves. Now the Christmas services they have is donated for Kids for Tots here in Moses Lake, Washington. They have the Fantoma services for Christmas. They have the church for the LDS Church services, LDS Church, a Latter Day Saints, and service for Vice President, President, and also the President and Vice President and President, and also the services they provide for the children that don't provide any services for their children. People that abandon their children in the library, they abandoned all their children, and then they abandoned all their children over at the international airport. They abandoned their children on the services on the streets of Pasco, Kennewick, Richland. You have homeless people that live here. You got homeless people that run in the areas and steal from people. And they have services at the church services for those reasons for the children. Their family members that they can't afford, and they have no money, and they can drive, they can provide services, but they can't provide service for their children. Now you got children that are homeless and come to services here. You got a CPS DH office right here at, it's called Work Source Service. That's Feruzzi That's Ferruzzi and David Ferruzzi, David Ferruzzi and David Ferruzzi and David Rez, David Nov and Rez Ferruzzi, and of course the services they have has a DHCPS office where they can take garnishments for your children because you don't take care of your children. You don't pay for the babysitting services, you don't pay for the endowment services, meaning the baptizing, for baptizing gowns, the gowns and services, the suit and tie, the Christmas presents, the Thanksgiving dinners, services that you provide. You got all the docket information on the library and a docket, DCPS, and also the services they have at Sacred Hospital. You're an American citizen and you have children and you can't even raise them and you can't provide services. They have the DHCPS office and they also have a resource center where they can have an employment record and services that applied for your Social Security number. Social Security office that has employment records, and all birth certificates and services. International Airport has a passport enhancement, department licensing right on Pioneer Way and Broadway. They have those services and they can upgrade your systems here. And you have a library staff, and you have staff children, and you have law firm agents that are up on straight on Pioneer at the funeral home. You have a funeral, we get lowered on the caskets, that's $10,000 in enhancements, and that shows up in your memorandums. So the disclosure and information's right at the library. I know the fuck you are. Witness, and they know you killed him, Ron. You guys get the names and shit on him. Did he? He smarted them. Can you hear it? Is it broke?
What can we do for you?
You guys still have the shirts, hoodies available or sold out? You said come back December. Or no, she said, yeah, end of December.
There's not any available right now.
What do you got available? No shirts
Nothing right now.
until January?
You can try back in January.
I got footprints. Yeah. Baby footprints. You guys don't take baby footprints before handprints? Do we take their footprints? Can you take her footprints and put her footprints on her fingerprints on the card?
I don't know.
Here,
I don't
15
know.
additional charge.
I don't know. I don't know if we have print cards big enough for that.
Oh.
Ink pads. I don't know. You'd have
Oh.
to.
Additional charge for.
No, our evidence gal has all the print cards for those, or the ink pads, I
Yeah.
should say, and she'll be out until January.
There's no additional on that for, do we know, or
We don't
should I
charge
just write a check out?
Anyway,
Okay, so should I bring more money just in case if she charge?
we don't charge to do fingerprinting for children.
Oh,
So
they,
it's just a matter on if the ink pads are big enough.
okay. And the adult size is $15 a piece, right? Side by side?
Because that's for criminal background. We don't criminal background for
Right.
children. That's a completely different thing.
Right, I'm in their face, I'm already in their face, and they're saying I have no record, nothing. He's saying, yeah. He said I crossed the street, and he said he's not gonna deal with it. But McKinnon wrote out a law firm memo, McKinnon, right behind Ron Kyler's house, right back there. He wrote it off, but yeah. So if I charge, how much would you charge me for my fingerprints? I'll pay for my fingerprints, and then they're her fingerprints. So that I didn't know. I thought you were gonna charge me for that, but so how much would it be for my fingerprints on top of that?
Do you need them ran for a certain reason?
No, I just need them. Just put them on the statute, the limitations, because the amendments on the processes. You guys are fighting them, and he had nothing to do with writing them off. So I just need official fingerprints, instead of me showing up at the state patrol office. You guys getting fired for it. Had no warrants, outstanding warrants. Pretty much, I could just put it. Yeah, I want it for their resources that I did the fingerprint. I'll pay for it. So it's no biggie. It's no biggie.
I don't know that we would do that. We don't do fingerprints just so you can carry them around.
No, not carry around. I'm processing. It's called it's DH, not DHS. It's housing. It says housing on it.
Okay, then.
Yes,
Did
housing.
you bring the housing after?
Yeah,
Then yes.
yeah. It was in their document. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't even know. He did. that a family?
We'd have to remove all those toys.
Yeah.
Because that's
9.94A, 772, the legal financial obligation monthly payments starting the construction of notwithstanding other provisions of state law. I'm starting the dates of set of court, white courts, any FTAs, failure to appears, habitual offenses on a co-offense system within 5-year grace period, 10-year grace period, 20-year grace period, 25-year grace period, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 grace period. It shows the drug offense sentence guidelines on the process of residential alternative in the home and college, and also any elementary school, any college campus. And these obligations of financial shows on all institute services and branch of collective agencies against community bank accounts, and also the collective service here in Moses Lake called Central Bonded. This is a financial obligation wage assessment for rules. Department shall develop and form or adopt rules wage assessments, formerly RCW 9.94A.206, 9.94A770, local financial payable, and this is wages assessment services, and this is the services in Fruzi, David Nav, Rez, and also they no more longer for the services anymore. He got literally kicked out of the system, and he is known as Mr. Brojas no more, because these these obligations, services that in complaint forms are being arose, and the judge's quorum, which is the quorum services, employment wages, services, and return receipts were not show cause fees, obligation, monthly payments, and also the services at the post office, and also the services at DHS and CPS office provision, because they're on provision because they're criminals, convicts, criminals, and they're special agitated conduct victims for anger management, dose of diversion, drug, prophylaxis, anything 40 grams, felony offense. These are no weapons, and they're not violent individuals, so they're borderline prisoners pretty much. They're facilitated individuals. They're using them because they have special obligation, the systems and in this process system, and their employees. 9.94A.839 special allegation process, and these process are also obligated on these services. Mr. Hatcher, Sheriff Hatcher, and also he's been out of work for 35 years, working somewhere else. Now he works for he's working. These specially offended individuals have endeavors, females, it's, he, she's, as Andy Miller would put it, it would be a quorum. So who's flaming today is processing for their table services for shanks, visual offenders, weaponry. All these individuals are complicated individuals, as you can see. Employers and liable obligation, as you see, the financial obligation, payroll deduction, max amounts, withholding or proper incident in Washington, George Washington House. Kim Wayman, Secretary of State. She's laying dead on pretty much on the gurney in there. She will wake up eventually after cancer is removed, but no promises taken there. These motions squash some warrants, termination, payroll deductions, and replacement of these chairs for resisting these obligated services for the withholding, delivery, issuing the contents that on your belongings there. Now the crimes and punishments in restitution application dates, you need to fill your application and your resume, your system properly on these articles of finance of institutions. Every time you're protecting somebody, you gotta look inside your interstate commission payroll deduction payment reasonable established organized ongoing activities. This is article finance. This is a trigonometry, political problem items, business license, collective information for the masters, and of course bachelors. You can't get your master's because you have a bachelor's, but this is the notice of victims' opportunities to be heard, your victims, and subdued your listening and listen to your victims. And these victims and offenders registration compliance, or these payroll deduction violation returns on the affidavits, memos, eligibility transfer procedure forms, eligibility transfer forms, collection and restitution fees, and the September 11th, the restitution and hearing and services for the data collected on report on the level of the supervision of receiving of the state
and the gratification of the portraits that's been George Washington and Washington House. The rules governor operating compact interstate commission during all prior period between the effective date, compact date of eligible date, and adopts of the compact, meditation and appropriation, the existing rules. These Washington Bar Association has these withdrawal slips are pretty much on the hearing on omnibus and pre-trial and trial restitution hearings, in which these determines and amounts of restitution hearings are within 180 days. So that's 180 days. Continuing here beyond these services and garnishments, you subpoenaing your husband and your children come and violating their interstate commission and levy contact, which is annual contact assessments, and the state of the covered costs for internal operation activities and these enhanced commissions and staff, totally amount sufficient coverage and commission annually budget approaching each year. These nipples on the pepper spray articles is tear gas. The tear gas will shut down your lung system and your eyes and your ears. Everything except your ears. You can hear, but everything will be being like suffocated is what it's going to feel like. They have these articles and constitutes intercommissions for the interstate commission for the homeless, and also the homeless and the people that leave their children here at the library and pass them over, and because of the liability and the assault first degree or second degree that pertain to the child, or the first degree assault to the child during the duration of having your blood, your urine, and also your hair follicle plucked from your DNA sample. The offender accused of committing the higher level violent department and section in that department. The 30-day confinement per hearing is recommended in all causes for the weapons and also possession, and also the trafficking. And you know what you did and who you are and what the offense is. Held in total confinement in your sanction hearing because your pre-hearing and your violent offense, your weaponries, and the possessions of what you're carrying, and also the services you're carrying when you're driving your vehicle, and erratic infraction. You held to confinement pending and sanction hearing until the sanction expires and your prosecuting attorney files new charges against the offender. It's co-defendant, defendant, co-defendant, and then jury in front of juries and jury boxes. During jury, you do not talk to uniform any officers, any off-duty, on-duty officers, and if you're caught talking to an officer of duty during them dropping your charge, and knowing the fact you're dropping your charge, and you have no exploration of recommendation and fine domination of any intimidation, banishing weapon, choking you to death, or officer witnesses, jury watching officer choking you in public and pulling a gun out in your assessment, tasing you in public, knowing for the fact that it's not even that you're land or they're practicing a UBI number. These rape charges of the child first degree, these exploitation of minor and defendant open tenure, close tenure, vehicular homicide, pretty much on Division and also right on Broadway. Stephanie Swanberg, Maine, Jordan, and Freda Washington. Home detention form order was infirmed properly. The infirmary offers court and create pattern in order to use the court cases and orders in complying with home detention, forgery, fraudulent, and services. English language is what we speak here in the United States of America. And the language stating a person levied residents with specified purpose have different listing common purposes on this, such as school, employment, retirement, counseling, programming, activities for this court may select these services on this beautiful laptop. Says Washington State Prosecutor. Now, the department may intervene with this offender committing low-level violations as you let this thing slither the streets. For the second sequence level violation department, these individuals come to the George Washington slithering, talking with foreign language, a long tongue. Offender accused of committing high-level violations and threats. No, forget the cities and towns here in Moses Lake, of course, and County Commissioner Pasco, and also Seattle and Tacoma, and also Mr. Bill Gates, which is only 7 miles away to Work Source in downtown here, which you can swim. You can't get a ticket for swimming to cross the way, because the biggest companies in the world on a procedural election is 35.92.070. By law, you can carry and subject any kind of tank and be submerged any in the area and surface and in Seattle, Washington. When governing body of the city of town deems available, the city of town purchase, acquire, and construct in such public utilities may additions, betterments, therefore, betterments meaning I wish I haven't, and I wish I didn't, and could have, would have, should have, but the plan proposed declare estimate ordinance is submitted to ratification and rejection by majority votes in city, town, AGs, and special election. As you can see, no submission shall be necessary at all. All lies and fools, distraught individuals that have work history, an extension increase apply if they say waterworks.